Greetings, greetings, greetings. You are now tuned into the vault. Trust Christian, know nothing, control everything. Just want to thank everybody for tuning in live, listening to replay. Always appreciate everybody for tuning in live, listening to replay. Big appreciation for everybody that's been listening in for years. Everybody that listens in, new people, if this is your first episode, or getting accustomed to the actual episodes, appreciate you all. This is the vault. Episode 256 on behalf of the trust. Once again, we have a trustee training program for people that want to protect their family estates, whether they have property, whether they want to go private. And so we have a training program. You can always feel free to email christian@trustchristian.com to enroll into that training program. You all get responded to via email. Once again, that's christian@trustchristian.com. This is episode 256 on behalf of the trust. And so this is an episode, like we say, we always do a lot of episodes for the trustees because there's quite a few truckers that are in trustee training, have been through trustee training. So they're on the road. We have various industries, people that listen to the vault, and obviously in the States, YouTube provides that platform for people to use it mobily. And so we're going to continue today. Trustees ask different questions throughout the week via consultations. And so we just want to address the issue that we know a lot of trustees have in their mindset. We know that quite a few people even get consultations and they say that they have a trust already, that they're either a trust on, and things of that nature. So this is an episode to really address your mindset towards trusteeship, because we get a lot of people that come into the training program and they are not aware of how to distinguish themselves separate from the trust. They have not distinguished that they're doing things on behalf of the trust as opposed to being the trustee and being a part of the trust. And this is a mindset that you have to be trained into, particularly whether it's in trustee training or otherwise. And so we get a ton of people that come in and they have to learn this style of communicating, because this is the style of communicating that keeps you from doing the things that you can't do in trust, which is commingle funds and fraudulently transfer. You have to understand that the trust is separate from you. The trust funds are not yours as a trustee. So once again, when we talk to trustees, this is what we talk about in trustee training. These style of conversations is that you don't own the trust. The trust is a separate legal entity. Now, of course, we're in private trustee training in our training program at the Vault. So you're getting a specific style of education. It's not just training for a living trust. It's not, oh, you create a trust and now you're the trustee. It can't be on behalf of the trust when you created it and you're the trustee. It has to be something different when you're just a trustee. We liken trustees and we train trustees to know that, hey, look, when you're in trustee training, you're in trustee training for public and private trust. Where else are you going to go get an education for public and private trust? See, there's public ones and there's private ones. When you're in the private, it's on behalf of the trust. When you're in the public, you think it's yours. When you're in the public, you think you own the trust funds. Well, how can you own the trust funds and the trust is set up for the benefit of the beneficiary? See, this is the training that you get in trustee training. You can't own the funds because it's for the beneficiary. You can't. So how is it you're doing anything on your behalf? A lot of people say, well, Trust Christian, how can a trust pay for my personal living expenses? It can't. It's doing it on its own behalf. And you're doing it on the behalf of the trust. You're paying those bills because it's behalf of the trust. Otherwise, it's an alter ego. Otherwise, it's the same as yourself. So it has to be on behalf of the trust. Trust Christian, how do you get a haircut? It's on behalf of the trust. How do you get your nails done? It's on behalf of the trust. But see, they don't teach that in the public. You got these lawyers, they just want to sell you a trust. We don't sell trust at trustee training. It's trustee training. We train you on public and private. You don't want to just get a trust and not know that you're doing things on behalf of the trust, because guess what? You are. If you don't own it, what are you doing as a trustee? You're doing things on behalf of the trust. You're adhering to the document because the contract makes the law. Public or private, you're doing it on behalf of the trust. You're not doing it for yourself, because that's self-dealing. Trustees, they come to us all the time and they say, well, how do I avoid self-dealing? You do things on behalf of the trust. Is everything on behalf of the trust? Are you acting in the capacity of a trustee, or are you acting personally? Because if you're dealing with trust situations and then you're utilizing yourself personally, sounds like you're not doing trust business. Because trust business is trust business. Personal business is personal business. Which one is it? You have to distinguish that. It can't be the same. It has to be separate. Because if it's not, then yeah, you are doing something illegal. You're doing something taken away from the separate person and then doing something for yourself. So this is what we talk about in trustee training. This is the education that we go over in trustee training, because people have a hard time sometimes transitioning from business to personal to trusteeship. See, when you're in trusteeship, you own nothing, control everything. You don't own the clothes on your back anymore. They're trust property. Trust can own clothes, right? Right. Well, you're wearing it on behalf of the trust. Well, we already know that, the alphabet people are going to say, well, how are you wearing trust clothes? Well, doesn't the job have a uniform? Yeah, that's how you're able to wear it. The trust has a uniform. If you're acting in the capacity of a trustee, then you're wearing a trust uniform. But no, you don't want to live your life through business. You want it to all be personal. And guess what? That's why you're getting taxed at the highest rate. It's because you're doing everything personally. That's why you can't write anything off, because you're doing everything personally. That's why your deductions are minimal, because you're doing everything personally. Well, trust has rules and regulations too. Trust has its own contract law. Are you living under that law? Are you utilizing that law? Or are you utilizing the public one that says there's minimal deductions? There's minimal. This is the education that you have the opportunity to make sure your kids and your children don't fall into the same trap from one generation to the next, where you didn't know it was business, not personal. It's a family business in trusteeship. It's not about your first name. It's about your last name. It's family business. It's on behalf of the trust, the family trust. It's not on behalf of the children. The children can't go out and mess up funds now. It's not their funds to mess up. It's the family trust funds that they're messing up. Your thought process is different when you're thinking about the family funds. It's on behalf of the generational wealth tool that we have called a trust. What is the purpose of having a business if it can't be passed along from one generation to the next? Apple, Microsoft, Ford. You all know these names. They're generational wealth tools. People are building something to pass along to their children. What are you doing every day? Are you slaving away and working away in vain? Or are you looking to pass something along from one generation to the next? Because if you're looking to pass something along from one generation to the next, you're passing along a tool. Money is a tool. A business is a tool. We weren't taught that in public school, though. We were taught the greatest tool is yourself. Guess what? You're the greatest liability if you don't even have insurance on yourself. If the company doesn't have insurance on you. So when you go down in the company, chronic illness or something of that nature, guess what? The company now has an insurance policy that says we can replace you as a CEO with an interim CEO through insurance policies. But you didn't know about that because the SBA didn't educate you on that. because you didn't seek alternative education. You were seeking public education. Now you have an opportunity to seek private education. You have the opportunity to seek alternative education. That's on you. Take responsibility, entrepreneur, investor. It's on you. The company can have insurance on you and replace you for medical leave. It can replace you as a CEO. That's an expense to the company. Because it's on in behalf of what? The trust. Or on in behalf of the company. See, the company's separate from yourself. But we got a lot of solopreneurs out here. Sole proprietors out here. They still filing the company taxes, which is now separate, on their 1040. Oh no, hold on. You ready for the slick one? Here's the slick one. The accountant said, let's go ahead and make it an S corp. So you're still filing company taxes on your 1040. Because, wait, the S corp is just a pass-through. It's going to go directly to you. Isn't that what they say? We hear it all the time. Yeah, my accountant, my lawyer, they told me to go into the S corp so I can reduce the corporation tax. I don't want to be in the C corp because that's double taxation. Really? That's a lie. Then let's go over to the LLC. Well, the LLC, it's not the greatest level of protection, and somehow they're getting you around taxes as an entrepreneur investor. How are they getting you around it when they're like, the S corp's a pass through now? That means it comes directly to you. They put you in a position where the liability, tax-wise, comes directly to you. But they did you a favor. Sure they did. Sure they did. They got more money out of you. That's called the favor they got. They got more money out of you. Are you doing things on behalf of the trust? Or are you doing things on behalf of yourself? That's the question, trustees. Are you doing things for yourself? But you get all these mores. You get all these people that say, oh, I'm going to get the trust to own my name. Okay, so the trust owns the name. But who's the trust set up for? You ready for this? Are you the beneficiary? You know how many people contact us and say, well, look, the lawyer set up this, or this accountant set up this trust for me. Okay, we hear it. We ask you, who's the grantor? Well, I don't know who the grantor is. Okay, well, who's the trustee? I'm the trustee. Okay, that's fair. You're the trustee. Who's the beneficiary? I'm the beneficiary. My kids are the beneficiary. So you're doing it. You don't know that if you benefit from the trust, it's not separate from yourself. So you're doing things, you're in control, and then we got this other term. It's called enjoyment. Control and enjoyment. That's what they get you. See, in trusteeship and law, they talk to you about what? The words. In trustee training, we talk about the words. Enjoyment doesn't mean the same thing in law. It doesn't mean, oh, we're having a great time. It means that you're actually liable. Do you control and still have enjoyment of the assets? So we had a case recently come up. This is how ignorance looks in the public, ladies and gentlemen. Ignorance looks like there was a case against a billionaire, Robert Smith, but the investor he was dealing with, we've seen the indictment. The investor he was dealing with has a charity, has a foundation. This is for all you all that got charities and foundations. This is how stupid people are. How is it that the investor literally, not only did they start the charity, they're the trustee over the charity, or the manager of the charity, and they're the damn beneficiaries of the charity. First of all, charity is the light and the burden of government. That means it's for the public. That's why it's a charity. But oh no, this idiot, because that's what he is, you just got hit with tax evasion. Why? Because your charity is set up for your benefit, your wife's benefit, your children's benefit. You're an idiot. But you as a trustee and trustee training have to be aware of dealing with these idiots. You have to be aware of what their business looks like. You have to see how people are conducting themselves. Robert Smith just became a little bit wiser now. Because the investor that he was dealing with was so dumb that he would create a charity and make himself on the record the beneficiary. When charity is to lighten the burden of government. When charity is set up for the public. That's why it's called a charity, idiot. And that's why he just got hit with tax evasion for $140 million. Because somebody didn't set up their business affairs properly. Bottom line. Because the charity was on behalf of what? Himself. It was to benefit him, his wife, his children. And that's why you just got hit with tax evasion. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, who are you doing business on behalf? Well, Christian, here we go. Trust Christian. I set up this entity. How is it separate from myself? Well, when you contact the vault through trusteeship, you learn how to separate your business wealth from your family wealth. You have to separate it. And there's actual documentation that you have to fill out to separate those things. Guess what? You can go read on the website that you get EINs on. It says if you don't file the paperwork, by default, you become a disregarded entity, not separate from the owner. Did you read the fine print? If you don't file this document, the entity is considered a disregarded entity, not separate from its owner. Well, because you didn't go back and say, well, I created it, but I want the entity to be its own person, because it can file its own tax form. Hey, I don't know. I didn't have somebody around me to educate me and tell me that. Well, now you do. Now you heard the truth. You can go out and do your research. You can go back to your account. You can go back to your lawyer and say, I need to make sure that the business is actually taking its proper filings and deductions. But you're not doing that because it's not business, it's personal. Really? No, it's business, not personal. Business is business, personal is personal. Let's think about that. So the business has its own forms to fill out. And you're an administrator. You're an executive now. Why do you think all these top CEOs of these tech companies, they don't say that they're the owner? They say that they're the what? The founder. You think title doesn't affect liability? Oh yes. Taxes chase title. If you say you own something, you're liable for it. Most of these tech companies are funded by VCs and angel investors. And the VCs and angel investors, they're the real owners. They're the real owners. But guess what? Zuckerberg, he takes the title of CEO. That means you're chief executive officer. Not owner, you're chief executive officer. You're founder. You're not the owner. The VCs and the angels own you. The VCs and the angels own the company privately. All these tech companies that you see, the VCs and the angels own the companies. They just have front men. They're called founders. They speak well. They look good in front of the camera. They handle public relations decently. They're not the owners. Zuckerberg's a shareholder like the public. He takes on title of founder. So what? Do you know what VCs founded the company first? Do you know what angel investors founded these companies first? Those are the real owners. Whoever puts out the money owns it, right? Right. How did a college dropout have millions of dollars to get marketing and PR? He didn't. He did what? He did what all great entrepreneurs do. They raised capital because it's a separate entity. They weren't giving money to Zuckerberg. They weren't giving money to Gates. They were giving money to the idea, to the company that they can inflate and get a return on investment on through shares, through dividends. Because Zuckerberg is doing business on behalf of the company. He doesn't own it. The VCs and angels do. These are public records, ladies and gentlemen. So it comes down to it once again. In trusteeship, are you doing business on behalf of the trust? Did you create the trust? Well, yeah, I did. Then it sounds like you're doing business on behalf of yourself, because there's different types of trust. There's revocable and irrevocable. If you're the creator of it and you're still a trustee, it doesn't sound too irrevocable-ish. Right. That's what trusteeship gives you, that clear distinction. That's what the consultations give you. It gives you a clear distinction between the facts and the figures and the lies that these accountants and lawyers want to put out there to you. They want to sell you something and tell you keep it moving. That's the difference, ladies and gentlemen. It's business, not personal. Separate your business wealth from your family wealth. Family wealth is private. Business has whatever encumbrances or liabilities it has to deal with. Is it business or is it personal? Is it public or is it private? That's what you're saying. Is it private business or is it public? Is it public business or is it private family? Separate your business wealth from your family wealth. Most people don't know how to do that, though, because they're doing business on their behalf. They're doing things under their own name, social status, right? Public. Instead of saying, look, you know what? I don't need any money coming to my name. Heck, all the greats are doing it. None of them have money coming to their name. Why? Because then they're liable for it. So what do? They do business on behalf of the trust. They do business on behalf of the company. Everything is an expense for the company because they're not doing business personally. Business is business. Personal is personal. Well, Christian, how does it cover all of those public and personal expenses? Ladies and gentlemen, most businesses have to have a forward face. Makeup, clothing. Have you ever heard of a clown? A clown wears makeup, right? So, women, there you go. It's a part of your job. It's a part of the uniform. Clowns wear makeup, but women do too. You can actually have that part of the expenses because guess what? It's a part of the business. If you have to show your face. Bottom line. It's business, not personal. Right? Are you doing business on behalf of the company? Do you need to wear makeup, ladies? Or is it an option? Well, the company says whoever is CEO, whatever executive position, they need to look good. This is what the standard is for our company. Oh, okay. That's doing business, not personal. What's the limit that we can write off for the company? That's why you have a good accounting. It's so they can know the proper expenditures and the laws based on that. What's wrong with that? What's the difference between a Fortune 500 CEO or executive and you as an executive of a small business? Well, there is no difference. You want to know why? Because you're called an executive. Now, how much money the company's bringing in, that's the difference. But the executive benefits package is based off percentages. That's it. Company cell phone, company vehicle, company food plan, company health plan, company uniform, on behalf of the trust, on behalf of the business. It's business, not personal. Separate your business wealth from your family wealth. Reach out, Christian@trustchristian.com. Appreciate you all for tuning live. Listen to replay. Feel free to reach out. Talk to you soon. Peace.